Hello there everybody, welcome back. I'm here to be talking about in a new video of SBID, aka Sawyer Breaks It Down, number 21. And this is a big one because this is the Amazing Digital Circus, which is known as like this indie show on YouTube by Glitch Productions, is getting a theatrical release for like about 2 weeks before that final episode, the 9th episode, releases on YouTube to everyone. And I just wanted to take a few minutes to really talk about my thoughts on this because so much is being developed about it, and so many people are, you have fans, going crazy, freaking out because obviously something that's, like the finale of a show is, obviously you have a lot of people interested in it, especially with something like this, which does really well on YouTube. And the fact that obviously spoilers are going to be flown everywhere, and like you're going to have to avoid social media for like 2 weeks before it's accessible for everyone on YouTube. But also what a game changer and insanely big risk that this is for not just Glitch but also for theaters to put this in the theaters. And I just wanted to just scramble and just freak out about it for a minute because I've been a big fan of this show since the pilot. Like, I've reviewed every episode except the pilot, unfortunately, but I watched it. I even had one of the scenes in my entertainment moments of that 2023 year, and I've just seeing how far, like, not just this show but just indie animation has come, particularly on YouTube. Like, obviously we saw the success of like Hazbin Hotel and a bunch of other shows like Murder Drones, also by Glitch, and they have a bunch of other shows like Gaslight District, Knights of Guinevere, and so many different shows. And Glitch is like one of the main pioneers, I would say, of this indie animation space. And like I would say their magnum opus, like their biggest crown jewel in terms of success, is the Amazing Digital Circus. And I believe they were one of the first of these indie shows that went to streaming as well. Like, I believe the show is also on like Netflix, for example, while also being for people on YouTube, like opening up the broader appeal for people, I guess, that don't use YouTube and are mainly on Netflix. And you saw after that a bunch of other shows have followed suit. Like, I believe Murder Drones went to Prime Video, and a bunch of other examples. And so seeing now they're taking this next big gamble, which is to put the film, this basically film, because what they're doing is the final episode I hear is about an hour, over an hour, but they're also putting the 8th episode because they both kind of, from what we see, play very well together. So it's going to be the 8th and 9th episode as one big film in theaters. And obviously a lot of people didn't know if this was true because it kind of was like leaked a few weeks ago, I would say, by Cinemark on their website, which is a theater chain, and it was deleted almost immediately. So a lot of people thought it was like an error or like something didn't match up. But then like we started seeing the poster, which you see on the thumbnail and everything. You were like, this, people were like, is this AI? What poster is this? I don't understand. And then before Glitch made their big announcement, Cinemark theaters put a link saying the tickets were on sale. And that's why I was like, I'm getting my tickets because this thing's real. Because I'm a big movie theater fan. I used to work at a theater. I know how this stuff works. And there was obviously some miscommunication because I don't think it was supposed to be, that link was supposed to open. But I'm glad I brought my tickets because I've been seeing reports of it selling out like crazy. Every time I look up seating arrangements, it's been sold out. And that's just at one of the locations near my area, so I'm glad I was able to get tickets for me and my sister. And then Glitch obviously came out with the official announcement with a trailer, which just by that thumbnail, this is going to be an insane final episode. And it could be such a fun experience watching it with fellow fans, and just being able to have that enjoyment. And also the worry, because it seems like from the trailer, like these are 4 of my favorite shots that I really like. It's such a blink and you miss it, like barely a minute trailer, but there's so much that it tells without telling us anything. And these are the 4 shots in particular that got me really talking. And like, of course, one of them you see is Ribbit, who is that frog character that Jax obviously, cares about. And I just had a feeling we were gonna see Ribbit come back, because I do remember they casted someone for Ribbit in that blink and you miss it type of scene in the 7th episode where they were staring at these globes, like these little balls of like memories before they go into Kane's office, and you hear someone that sounds different. It turns out that was, I'm assuming, the past scene with, you know, Ribbit and Jax, and they announced the whole voice actress and everything, and I'm assuming they're gonna have a chance because you hear them talk in the trailer. And obviously the whole trailer and everything we got going on there is incredible, and it just looks great. But the main concern that I really want to put at ease for people, although I don't think a ton of people are going to watch my video, but I just like to just say my mind on this stuff, is that yes, there is a concern that stuff could get spoiled, and Glitch, I believe, even put out their own statement to, you know, reassure the fans of the show. And I really gotta respect them, but honestly, they shouldn't be too, you know, like, I don't know how the statement read. It felt like that they were like, I guess, I wouldn't say ashamed, but like, you know, not as excited as like, this is an incredible opportunity, especially if this pays off, which I wholeheartedly believe it will, because not only do I think this show had a lot of, you know, good character moments, great animation, the constant improvement of how the story has progressed, and it's kind of unpredictable, but also has, you know, some wacky fun in it. Like it's kind of the whole package. We see from a recent report I saw that just in like these first couple of days, it's made at least $5 million in pre-sales, which is massive. Like that is so, like, this is gonna be a phenomenon. It's gonna do a lot of money, and obviously what's getting people really wanting to go see it in the theaters now is because they don't want to get spoiled. So everyone's trying to get tickets, which means more showtimes are going to be added. Like we see here, they initially added, you know, like Japan's getting it, the US is getting it, and, you know, Latin America, I believe. This, you see here, they have a little, what I love to do is when they do these little announcements or little ads for like merch and stuff, they do either little animations or like art like this. And you see there, they announced like Mexico, for example, and they're adding more theaters. So it's going to be a gradual thing where they're going to keep adding more showtimes and, you know, more days, I'm assuming. Because I heard originally it was just going to be like for the 2 weekends, but I think it's going to go across from the weekend throughout the weekdays to give everyone a chance to watch it in theaters before it drops on YouTube. And with something this popular and this, like, you gotta go before, you know, you get spoiled. It reminds me kind of when we were in the peak Marvel era. Maybe not to that level with Endgame and Infinity War, but we're getting, it could get to that level where fans are so freaked about getting spoiled about it that they gotta rush to the theater and see it. And I did want to also shout out that they did this little, you know, clip of, you know, Pomni and Jax going to the movies. And I thought, I love videos like that, especially because I'm a big movie theater guy. I love that stuff. And seeing two characters I really like, you know, at a theater event, I thought that was really cute. So I just wanted to shout that out. But overall, those were kind of like my scattered thoughts on this. But basically, I just want to rest assure everyone that this is a great thing, especially if it pays off. And the doors that this could open for like future indie, you know, creators who, you know, want to do animation and all. This could really be like a big game changer for, you know, this studio, Glitch, making a lot of money to continue empowering a bunch of other indie animators to make great shows. And we gotta be remembering here that the show has been free really on YouTube this whole time. And yeah, they sell merch and, you know, they have the Netflix deals and all that, but it's still gonna be free on YouTube like they said, and because people are getting upset and kind of feeling, I don't want to say like entitled, but they're just like feeling like that, well, it was always free, it should stay free. And it is, but this is such a, like, I don't think people are understanding what a big deal this is, especially if it pays off. And I think it's a win all around. A win for Glitch and indie animation, but also a win for movie theater, you know, chains and people who work in that industry, because it hasn't been so great, especially, you know, in these recent years. And we have a surprisingly great start to the year with, you know, recent films like, you know, Project Hail Mary, Hoppers, Scream 7. Like every film, it feels like the Super Mario Galaxy. Like we've had a lot of great films, you know, really knock it out of the park in terms of revenue. but something like this could like also be great for theater chains. So I personally see it as a win-win. It could be a fun experience for fans if they don't ruin it. There's a lot of fun to be had here, and I just think this is such a great thing to see happen. And with all that said, basically those were all my scattered thoughts, and you know, obviously a lot of people are mixed on it. People like me are excited that this is happening and can see like going ahead, like the potential, and like while it's a risk, there's a lot of reward benefits there too. A lot of people are skeptical of this and not a fan of it due to past statements which they feel contradict what's going on now, and also the fear of being spoiled. Again, what do you all think of all this crazy news that's dropped? And it's still developing. They're still adding more stuff. They're still doing these little fun arts and videos to like hype it up. And it's in June, so we have a ways off. Again, let me know down below in the comment section. And if you want to hit the bell as well to get notified when I upload, that means so much to me. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you all later. Bye.